Thank you and good morning. Good morning to everyone, and thank you all for joining us today. Joining me is Councilmember Mark Kersey, who serves as chair of the city's Active Transportation and Infrastructure Committee, our Police Chief David Nislight, Bob McElroy, CEO of the Alpha Project, Rob Hutzel, who is President and CEO of the San Diego River Park Foundation. I believe all of those will be given some remarks here. In a second, we have our fire chief, all of our department directors who are here today. And Bob, thank you for hosting us at Alpha Square. It's always good to be back. And I'm pleased to be surrounded by a hardworking team that's really been putting in a lot of time and effort and energy on this budget, which we are formally announcing today. We are at Alpha Square, which is an award-winning development with 200 apartments and services for homeless and low-income men and women. And this is a fantastic example right here at Alpha Square about what we need to say yes more of in San Diego. We're here today to release the fiscal year 2020 budget, a balanced plan with one objective: putting our neighborhoods first. And this proposal prioritizes streets, core neighborhood programs, housing, homeless services, our climate action plan, and public safety. It also calls for a huge expansion of our Clean SD initiative. That is removing trash and debris from our neighborhoods, our public spaces, our canyons. And we're breaking the record that we set last year with the largest infrastructure investment in city history. We've quadrupled our capital improvement program to more than $700 million since I first took office for neighborhood infrastructure projects that will benefit residents across the city for decades to come. And we're doing all of that despite, as I think many of you know, facing another lean budget year with modest revenue growth. And while we are seeing some gains in sales and property taxes, the transient occupancy tax has been growing at a much slower rate. And that's a key reason, in my opinion, why we absolutely must expand the economic engine that powers our tourism economy, the San Diego Convention Center. This budget plan puts the priorities of San Diegans first and center in all that we do. We made tough decisions. We held the line on spending and asked department directors to reduce spending by 3%. The result is a $4.3 billion budget that's focused on core services that will improve quality of life in our neighborhoods and keep our communities safe. This plan takes a very fiscally responsible approach to funding services that I have worked very hard to maintain as mayor. We're keeping library and park hours at the highest level in a decade, and we're funding operations for new libraries at Mission Hills and San Ysidro. We're investing $80 million to fix the equivalent of 430 miles of streets, putting us on pace to repair half of San Diego's entire street network during my time as mayor. And we're focusing on the future with hundreds of millions of dollars that we're going to pure water and our climate action plan. We are investing in 4 police academies, 3 fire academies, and a lifeguard academy to ensure that we remain the safest big city in the country. And we're expanding our efforts to clean up our neighborhoods and the San Diego River with a 150% increase in funding for the popular Clean SD initiative. This $6.3 million in additional funding will allow us to expand Clean SD to communities beyond downtown, the East Village, the Midway District, and the San Diego River, so our personnel can provide a clean and a safe environment at beach areas, in canyons, in parks, and open spaces throughout the city. San Diego is a great city, and these investments are going to go a long way to really improving the quality of life for everyone. And this budget also recognizes that housing is unattainable for too many people in San Diego. And these neighborhood services won't mean much if people can't afford to live here. And the high cost of housing is also directly related to a number of the individuals who find themselves living on the streets. That is why it is critical that we invest in strategies that will lower the cost of housing and get more units built faster. My budget plan helps us do that, allocating $36 million for homeless solutions and programs to fully fund our 3 bridge shelters, our safe parking program, our storage facilities, the new Housing Navigation Center, and other proven strategies. We are saying yes to more housing. And with money dedicated to the next phase of our Housing SD plan to create more housing affordability and encourage the construction of new units next to transit hubs throughout the city. And this budget also replenishes the fee waiver program for Granny Flats with another $300,000, a program that's working. We've really spent the last 5 years laying a strong foundation and a solid foundation for our city. A city that is fiscally responsible, that is governed inclusively, and really that focuses on results. In the past, too often city leaders neglected San Diego's future. Now we're setting records for road repair, making a down payment on our future with the Climate Action Plan and our Pure Water program, and prioritizing neighborhood infrastructure like never before. I'm going to invite a few others to come up here and speak, but I first again want to conclude by thanking again all of our hardworking city employees. This budget process is never easy, and I'm grateful for their contributions and their commitment each and every day. I particularly want to give a shout out to all of our financial folks, many of them here today, our Chief Financial Officer, Rolando Charvel, and his entire Department of Finance for putting this plan together. I also want to thank my Director of Finance Policy, Jessica Lawrence. Please join me in giving them all a round of applause. Thank you, guys. Thank you to all of our city team, all of our department heads, our Chief Operating Officer, Chris Michelle. Everybody, this has been a team effort from the very beginning. Thank you for working so hard on a budget that focuses on neighborhood results. And now it's my pleasure to introduce the chair of the city's Active Transportation and Infrastructure Committee, Councilmember Mark Kersey. Mark?
Well, thank you, Mayor. Good morning, everybody. The Padres are in first place. I just want to let that sink in for a minute. It's been a great season so far. Thank you and good morning. The fiscal year 20 proposed budget continues the momentum to make our city safer, cleaner, and more vibrant. At the forefront continues to be significant investments to rebuild San Diego. Neighborhood infrastructure improvements like street repair and sidewalk replacement continue to be a top priority and request of our constituents. So I'm pleased to see that this budget proposes an even greater infrastructure investment than the current fiscal years, which, as the mayor indicated, was already the most in city history. $716 million in CIP investments, nearly $80 million to repave roads, and nearly $12 million for Vision Zero safety upgrades are an ambitious commitment. But we've proven that we can make a difference in our neighborhoods and for our residents with these significant investments. I'm especially proud that in its third year, the Rebuild San Diego initiative that the voters approved in 2016 will be at work again in FY20. The Infrastructure Fund will dedicate $24 million for meaningful neighborhood infrastructure improvements in every council district throughout the city. I look forward to hearing the public's feedback through the budget review process, including our evening meeting on May 1st, and I look forward to another year of repaving roads and keeping pedestrians, cyclists, and drivers safe throughout our neighborhoods. Thank you all very much.
Thank you, Mark. Next, it's my pleasure to introduce our Chief of Police, Dave Nisleit. Chief?
Thank you, sir. Good morning. First, I want to start off by thanking the mayor on this proposed budget. As he already stated, this budget will allow us to do multiple things that will maintain this city as the safest city in the nation. That includes fully funding 4 police academies with a goal of each academy having 50 new recruits. It also fully funds our new neighborhood policing division so we can go out and address those quality of life issues that are throughout the city. So when you look at public safety, it starts, anything in the city starts with public safety and having safe streets. And this budget will allow us to continue to do that. Will allow our men and women of the San Diego Police Department to go out and continue those great relationships with the communities that we serve while maintaining the highest level of public safety and then bringing in new members of the police department to join this membership of the San Diego Police Department. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Chief. Thank you, Chief. Thank you, Chief. Now I'd like to introduce our host here today, Bob McElroy, who, as I think many of you know, is CEO of the Alpha Project and has been a true leader and champion citywide to reduce homelessness and to help folks get back on their feet. Bob, thank you. Come on up.
Thanks, Kevin. I appreciate it. Welcome to Alpha Square, everybody. And most of you have been to the Alpha Bridge Shelter. And next month, we'll be opening the Lofts, which is 53 units for veterans up in Normal Heights. So you're all welcome to come to that ribbon cutting. Kevin will be there. Yes. We've had 44 different cities from around the West Coast and across the United States visit the Alpha Bridge Shelter. We just had the mayor of Oakland on Monday. We have the mayor of Albuquerque coming in at the end of the month. They're coming here for a reason. They all face the same issues that we have. Nobody can afford to live in those cities. There is no low-income housing. It's going to take decades and billions in political will to build those things. What do we do in the meantime? So they've come down here to see the efforts that we've done here. We had 6 delegations from Los Angeles, for example, come down, council offices. They're now doing 15 bridge shelters in LA. Everybody understands the fact that we've got to have a place for people to be safe, to be healthy, to have the wraparound services that we provide, and wait for that opportunity when that unit comes available somewhere that we can get them into those facilities. But in the meantime, people have a choice now to be homeless or start the process of recovery. Thanks to the leadership of Kevin, we're moving ahead. Now is not the time for complacency. It's the time for action. We got to keep moving the ball down the field. And I'm hoping that the city council will join you with that, Kevin. And the goal line's out there somewhere. And all of us working together, we'll get there someday. Amen? Amen.
Thank you, Bob. And now lastly, I'm happy to introduce somebody who's been working with all of us to restore the San Diego River, something that we have a great amount of pride in. Our natural environment is part of the DNA of who we are as San Diegans. And Rob, as president and CEO of the San Diego River Park Foundation, has been a tremendous partner. And so, Rob, come on up. Thank you.
Hi, it's a pleasure to be here today. The San Diego River Park Foundation is really pleased to be invited to this because we've been such an active partner with efforts to clean up the San Diego River. The Clean San Diego, Clean SD, it works. We are testimony to that. We've seen an 88% reduction in the amount of trash along the San Diego River just since the program started. That's significant. It's sustained in an 88%. And so we're really excited that this will expand not only to continue to focus on the San Diego River with the additional funding, but also our canyons, our parks, our open spaces, and our neighborhoods. Every person in San Diego deserves to live in a clean community, a trash-free community, and a safe community. And this budget will help us get there. And one day, we'll have a clean, healthy San Diego River, and I'm looking forward to that. Thanks, Mayor.
Thank you, Rob. Thank you. Thank you, all of you, for being here. And each and every one of us will be available for any questions you may have one-on-one. Thank you. Thank you, guys. Good job, Chris.